Hi, I appreciate you joining me today. This is Esther from Stampin' Star Creations. I'll be using Saffron, Balmy Blue, Soft Seafoam and Pear Pizzazz from a Stampin' Up colour challenge, and using the High Tide and the Colourful Seasons stamp set. I'm using the sand from the High Tide stamp set with the soft seafoam, and I'm using the other side, so not the side with the gap where you'd normally put the lighthouse, but the other side because I just want the sandy bit. Going in with the Pear Pizzazz colour and just adding some reeds. So we're just going to be building up a picture, almost like a picture postcard, and just building up the scenery to enclose the edges to build up this scene. I laid down the deck chair just to get an idea of where I want things to go, and I decided to add some more sand to create almost like a sand dune look. And I thought I was going to stick the deck chair on the left. I decided to bring in my Stamparatus using the foam mat for the photopolymer stamps and just grabbing out my strong magnets to hold my paper in place. And I realised when I put the stamp down I had it the wrong way round, so it needed to go on the other side of the picture, not the left hand side. So I added more sand on the right hand side to make it a bit more equal. So going again with the Balmy Blue, and I'm going to stamp this twice because I want the wooden part of the deck chair to be a stronger colour than the material on the chair, which is a separate stamp. Take your time to line this up. This is why the Stamparatus is great for this kind of job, and just use those key areas at the bottom half of the chair to give you some guidance as to where you want the stamp to fit. I was just about to stamp it, and then I thought, oh, I've got an idea. I want to see if I can get a pattern onto the deck chair. So I'm going to try the kissing technique using the birds from the High Tide stamp set and putting this stamp, a dry stamp, onto the existing deck chair stamp to create almost like a material look. I'm just bringing in a cloth so I don't get inky fingers at this point. So as you can see, it's not come out very clearly, but it does create a pattern onto that deck chair. Add in a drink and I eyeball it again to add it into a stronger colour, so just using the Saffron for that. Then I just thought it needed some more reeds filling out that scenery a bit more. I was going to use the water stamp, and then I thought, let me just try with the Aquapen first, create some sea in the background to see what that looks like first before deciding to use an actual stamp. I much preferred the realistic look of the colour wash. And then going in with detail with a bit of a stronger colour. And just testing out the stamps, laying them down, seeing where I want to put things. So I don't want too strong a colour with the sun, so I stamp off first. And then want to add in just the 3 birds going past the sun, and I can afford to put this in full strength because it's such a tiny area of the stamp. Now, because I'm trying to stick to the colours, I didn't know if a green branch would look a bit odd, but after stamping it on my rough piece of paper, I decided, yeah, it's fine. I wanted to use the small blossoms with this, and this doesn't actually necessarily match this stamp. There is another stamp in the set that matches it, and I've done this technique before where I've used the blossom with the bigger branch, but I wanted to just test out the colours before I went ahead and stamped it on my page. I thought rather than just one overhanging branch, it'd probably look better if it was more like a tree design. So going in with the blossoms and stamping a few times with the Saffron. Now that the colour wash has dried a bit, I'm adding some more detail onto that sea with the dark colour, just highlighting the edges and creating a few waves. I'm bringing in a sponge just to sponge the outside again, just with that idea of a picture in mind and just trying to enclose everything in. Sponging a bit of blue just helped it look a bit more realistic. So I'm mounting this on some Faux Saffron, some 5 and 5/8 by 3 and 15/16. The Shimmery White cards is 3 3/4 by 5.5 inches, and we're laying that onto an A6 soft seafoam. Here comes the wink of Stella. Now it wasn't coming out, so I give it a squeeze. And this is what happens when you give it a squeeze over your project. No! I'm going, what do I do? Can I put it somewhere else? Can I smudge it in? Can I lift it up and use all that wink of Stella that I've just squirted on my paper? I'm a bit stuck to know what to do. I go off and grab some tissue, but by the time I come back and try and dab this up, you will see that it's probably a bit too late. So it does, look, you can see how much wink of Stella's on there. I managed to dab some of it off, but like I said, it does absorb through. I kind of hesitated, I didn't know what to do, I'd stuck everything down. So I decided, look, I'm not going to waste it, I'm going to rescue it by adding in a sentiment, which I was going to add in anyway. So this particular sentiment is from Free as a Bird, and used the Pear Pizzazz to stamp that. Then I thought, oh, it's covering the cup, and I want the cup to show in the picture because it will look a bit odd if you cover up that cup. They're not going to know what it is if I cover it up. So I tried stamping it on the sentiment, and I just, oh no, it looks a bit obvious that I'm covering a mistake, so I fussy cut one out. Then I wanted to make more of the sentiment, and shh, don't tell anyone. This is actually Mossy Meadow twine from the Magnolia suite, but I just wanted something to make that sentiment stand out a bit more. Then I thought, oh, there's a piece of Faux Saffron strip there. I might try and incorporate that. I had an issue with the sentiment just hanging. It just felt as if it was hanging off the page. It should have fitted to the left hand side, so adding another layer in really helped, and then stuck that down with dimensionals. I still felt something was missing. Now that everything was stuck down, there's a great big gap there, and it just needed filling. I know, you know, you shouldn't be scared of white space, but sometimes I just, yeah, when it bugs me, I need to fill it. So using that small sand stamp, I stamp off with Balmy Blue and add some fluffy clouds in the background. And as if it still wasn't enough, it obviously wasn't for me. I thought I just need something more, just something. So I've added those blossoms just falling down. And I'm still going. I just think to make that sentiment stand out a bit, I'm just going to do a bit of faux stitching. Now you could use stitching dies for this, but already, because things were stuck down, this is a great way of just adding detail with a pencil and ruler. There, much happier. Not going to touch it anymore. Thank you so much for watching. You've been watching me, Esther at Stampin' Star Creations. I'm on other social medias. I do Facebook Lives, and you can shop at stampinstarcreations.co.uk. Thank you. Have a good day.